This relationship advice that I'm going to give you is something that will make your relationship grow with your partner and with yourself. Okay, so this relationship advice that I'm going to give you will strengthen your relationship with your partner and your relationship with yourself. So it's working best of both worlds, okay? And this relationship advice that I'm going to give you is basically, and it's very, very simple, but it is a challenge. But it's going to be the best challenge of your life in growing relationships with another partner and growing relationships with yourself, okay? Because whenever you're in a relationship with someone, you're also in a relationship with yourself with that someone. So the only advice I will give you about being in a relationship is to keep it between you and that person. Now, let me tell you why it's so important to keep your relationships private between the two of you. When you are in a relationship, first of all, you're in a relationship with your partner. You are not in a relationship with your partner and your parents. You are not in a relationship with your partner and your best friends. You are not in a relationship with your partner or your coworkers or your neighbors. No. You are in a relationship with you and that person, and that should be it. And as we know, relationships take a lot of effort, take a lot of strength, take a lot of work. You're building a foundation, and you're building upward. You're building a partnership. So when you are in a relationship and you have conflict, it is totally normal, okay? But now, instead of you running to tell your problems to your family members, to your best friends, to your coworkers, to your neighbors, now it's an open relationship. And that is not something I support at all. I understand sometimes we might not have the answers on how to solve our problems in relationships, but this is why it gives you strength to figure this out yourself. Because when you are figuring this out with the relationship you're in, you are figuring out things with the relationship you're in with yourself as well. So the only person that can advise you the best is you. Even if you make a mistake or make the wrong choice or the wrong decision, it is your choice. So at the end, you will be proud to say, I made this decision. I chose this. I learned from this. So look at it this way, right? This is you, and this is your partner. You're building a foundation, and you're growing and developing a long-term partnership, relationship. And when you have conflict and you are so quick to go to outside sources for help, one, Some people will advise you or give you wrong advice. You have the free will to take it or not, of course, but you will be more persuaded to take their advice. 2, half of these people have not experienced what you have experienced in your relationship. So they don't have the answers. And if they do, if they haven't experienced what you experience in your relationship and they have some answers, it's like, I want to say this in the best way possible. It's like taking advice from a baby who hasn't developed yet. I just feel so strong about this because when you take advice from a person who hasn't experienced what you are experiencing in a relationship, it's like the blind guiding the blind. That's the perfect way to say it. That's where I want it to go. So how are you going to take relationship advice from a person that has not experienced what you are experiencing in a relationship? Ask yourself that. And 3, when you have problems in your relationships and you go tell other people, most of these people are actually happy you're having problems in your relationships. They feel bad for you, yes, and they want to help you, but maybe deep down inside they're happy you're having problems in your relationship because it makes them feel good about their relationship. Okay? So learn to keep your relationships private. And 4th, let's say you have a problem, right, in your relationship. And then again, you go to these outside sources. And then they give you advice. They have this to say. They guide you this way. You go back, right? Again, you get along. You work on your relationship. And you have conflict again. Or problems arise. What are you going to do? You're going to go to these outside sources and these people again looking for help. And then they're going to say, oh my gosh, again, they're having problems. Again, they're coming to me. Why doesn't she or he break up with them already? So, they're supportive. But is that the route you want to go every time you have a problem? Is that the route you want to go every time you have conflict in your relationship? One thing I can tell you what's wrong with this dialogue is that you are not learning anything about yourself in this relationship. Each relationship that you are in is supposed to give you growth. And how are you growing? When you are constantly depending on these people for advice, guidance, support. The only advice I will give you, being in a relationship, and I wish I did this sooner, is keeping your relationship between your partner, especially the problems, private. Keep it private. And if you don't know the answer, do you know who does? I will tell you who does. You ever thought about opening the Bible? You ever thought about opening the Bible and looking for relationship advice there? The Bible has everything. You ever thought about talking to God to guide you? God sees everything. You ever thought about writing it down and talking to yourself about it? There's other ways good ways that you can go about conflict or problems in your relationship is to keep it between you and that person. And this will help you with self-growth, self-love, self-development within you and your relationship. And you see how many positive things I said? Growth, development, building, relationship. It's up to you and no one else, because you know yourself more than anyone else, and you know your partner more than anyone else. So the worst thing you can do is, if you have a problem, and then go to these people and say, he or she is this, I don't like this, he did this to me or she did this to me, and you're painting a bad picture of your partner. Why? Why would you do that? And then let's say you go back to him. And this way you're wasting everybody's time on seeking advice. You're wasting your time and you're gossiping about your partner. That's not how relationships work. Even if they're good or bad, that's not how relationships should work. When you have a relationship, it should be mutual respect, communication. And because it's done, doesn't mean it gives you permission to talk bad about this person, because this person served their purpose in your life. Whether it was good or bad, they served their purpose for your self-development, for your self-growth, for your self-love. Everything is self. Because you're growing. No matter where or who relationship you are with, business or a partner, you're supposed to be growing in any relationship. So my advice on relationships is to keep it private, especially your intimate ones. Keep it between you and that person. And if you ever need help, guidance, advice, open the Bible. Seek God. Cry it out. You'll get answers. You'll be surprised. And you know what's the best for you. And then decisions you have to make. Because this will only make you stronger, will make you know yourself better, make yourself wiser, and it should make your relationship even stronger. Good luck.